Welcome back to Good Morning Idaho, everybody. A beautiful view of Boise there as we listen to some music. Well, October is National SIDS Awareness Month, and this morning Shannon Glenn is joining us from Sleep Well Children Consulting. And it's an important month to talk about SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome, which is in its own right a little mysterious, wouldn't you say?
Yes, there's not a lot. It's all been research found on things that have happened that has helped parents learn ways to reduce the risk.
Which is good. So even though we don't know directly what causes it, what makes it happen, we do know there are things that make it less likely that that tragedy will take your child. And so you actually coming here and you have a lot of advice for parents. There are several things that they can actually do to reduce the risk. Let's start with that.
Okay.
When parents who already have their newborns, putting them down at night, what are things they need to remember?
I try to educate parents on the basics that they recommend for babies that are newborns. And the first thing is to always place their baby on the back to sleep for naps and bedtime. Make sure that the room temperature, that your baby's not getting too hot, that the room temperature is 65 to 70 degrees. A little on the cooler side is actually what's suggested. And even including a fan in the room with them to keep the air circulating is recommended. Also make sure that there's no loose bedding around the baby's head, that the baby's head is uncovered at all times while sleeping. And then also to make sure the baby's not exposed to any secondhand smoke at all during pregnancy, and then while the baby, shortly after the baby is born. And then also make sure the baby's sleeping on a firm surface. And finally, it's recommended that babies have their own sleeping space, be that a crib, bassinet, or pack and play that's in the parents' room for the first 3 months of life.
Excuse me, I've been holding that in for a long time. Now, these are important things too, because especially for new parents, you may not even think of that when you lay your baby down to sleep. And coming up in a little bit on Good Morning Idaho, you're going to show Rachel a demonstration of the proper way to swaddle your baby so they get put down to sleep, correct?
Yes. Swaddling is something that has been linked to the reduction of SIDS and is something recommended that parents of newborn babies do to help their baby sleep better.
Great. So the demonstration, I think, will really, kind of get the hands on, let you see it at home, will be something that's very helpful. And we thank you so much for coming in.
Yep.
Lots more information to come. It's very important because we love those babies.
Absolutely.
Right? Thanks so much, Shannon, for coming in. We'll chat with you again in about.
And welcome back to Good Morning Idaho on this Thursday morning. Well, October is a lot of things, but it's also National SIDS Awareness Month. So Shannon Glenn is back with us from Sleep Well Children Consulting. And you're a child sleep expert, and you talked to Spencer earlier, Shannon, about SIDS and how to prevent it and what parents can do.
Yes.
And one of the things is swaddling.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, swaddling has been linked to a possible reduction of SIDS. It also helps a baby sleep better. The purpose of swaddling is to wrap a baby really snugly. It's very effective for babies 0 to 3 months old. And the reason why is that it makes them feel warm and secure, keeps their arms down at their side to prevent them from startling, and kind of recreates the environment that they were most previously in, which was the womb.
Awesome. And I know from having 2 babies that it's sometimes easier said than done to get a good swaddle, get a nice tight wrap. So you're going to show us how to do it correctly.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes, there definitely is a method to it, and there is a way to make it easier for parents to know how to do and keep those babies nice and snug.
Okay, so let's show us. And there's a certain technique that you use.
There is. So I am a Happiest Baby on the Block educator, and I have been trained by what Dr. Harvey Karp calls his DUDU method, which is an acronym DUDU, which stands for down, up, which I think is really helpful for parents to have in their mind, especially when it's the middle of the night and they're really tired, and they're new parents and they're trying to figure out how to do this to keep it right and keep their babies wrapped nice and tight.
DUDU is something that new parents deal with a lot. Anyway, so that should be easy to remember. Okay, so show us what we're talking about.
Sure. One thing I want to point out about this blanket, just because it is kind of important, is that it's a good, nice square blanket, which is really important when you're looking for a swaddle blanket, that you go with a square blanket. It's also really stretchy, which is also important so that you can get that baby nice and snug.
And it's big.
And it's big, yes. The blanket needs to be big.
Okay.
Yes. So the first thing that you'll do is put it in the diamond shape. So the square will be...
so the points are up?
The points are up. Okay. And then the next thing that you're going to do is pull the top down into a triangle right there. And then you'll put the baby in the middle of the blanket, lining its shoulders up right with the top of this blanket here. Perfect. And then, like I said, the first one is the D, which is down. So you're going to pull this nice and snug. Really important factor is to keep those babies' arms down at their side, not up.
And most babies will lie just perfectly this still for us, won't they?
Right.
I know. But
no, they won't. And you will have to master your technique for sure.
It takes some practice,
but you will get lots of practice
yes,
doing it.
and I know. So you're tucking it under as well, which is getting it tight is really important.
It's really
right?
important. And the important part is that it's tight around their arms. That's where it needs to be most important. The legs aren't as important.
Okay.
So then the next is up. So you're going to go up with the baby's arm, again tucking that under the other arm and in the back. So now we're on the down again. And I always recommend on this one that you give it a good pull and tight right there. You'll see that there's a V-neck shape right there, and that's important to keep the blanket away from the baby's face.
The stretchy blanket is such a good tip too, because it just gives you more to work with and it allows you to get it a little tighter. That's great. Okay, so we were down, up, down.
Yep, and so now we have up. So you're going to hold, so we just went down, and so you're going to hold that right there with your finger. And then we have this last part that we're going to go up with. And Dr. Harvey Karp calls this the belt. And the reason why is because this should hold the whole blanket in place and fasten it together. So we're going to go all the way around with it. And you are right, your baby, it's also super common for babies to cry when you're doing a swaddle. And parents immediately panic thinking, oh my gosh, they hate the swaddle, I better take it off. But really, this is what will slow them down, calm their bodies down, and allow you to help comfort them.
And look,
there you have
she
a
is
wrapped
just perfectly wrapped. And I gotta tell you, my swaddle never looked this good, but it does take practice.
It
and
does.
I gotta tell you, I'm learning the right blanket.
It really does
really
matter.
important.
It is really important that you have the right blanket.
All right, sounds good. Now, do you have a website or somewhere people need more references? Where can they go if they'd like to see this technique again?
Yes, my website is sleepwellchildren.com. I'm very active on there. I have lots of blogs and lots of different posts that they could go on to connect with me or learn more information if they want to about babies and sleep.
Perfect, and we'll have this video on IdahoOnYourSide.com as well, so you can watch Shannon in action again if you need some tips. So, all right, Shannon Glenn, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Spencer?
All right.